The following is brought to you by the People's National Party.
Make the trumpets play. Jamaican people want better. Economy coming like stormy weather. Ancestors are turning on them grave. We can tell me how we can do it together. When we look to the future of precipice, we see Jamaica needs the vision of the PNP. People said the bag of promises, them can't carry go shop. And the crime rate getting higher, wonder when it does stop, comrades. Jamaican people want better. Economy coming like stormy weather. Ancestors are turning on them grave. We can tell me how.
The proceeding was brought to you by the People's National Party.
The scale of dealing with anti-corruption issues. So there is a learning curve that we are going through. What is important is that the government supports the development of the institution so it can accelerate very quickly on that learning curve and provide the resources so that they can move very quickly on the learning curve, and that the government does not intervene or interfere. And that message goes to the opposition as well. Leave the anti-corruption and policing agencies to do their jobs. I don't know why you come to me with that foolishness, you know. You elect a prime minister, and is a prime minister run the country. It is time we learn to hold our leaders accountable for their actions and stop making excuses for them. Stop making excuses. Otherwise, go elect the people who really run in the country. And I don't want the right side that stupid argument. Hold the people you elect accountable and stop making excuses for them.
Hello, welcome. Happy Friday. Happy Friday to all our subscribers. Happy Friday to those in television land. Happy Friday to our silent supporters. Happy Friday to those in the chat. Turn it off. Hope everyone has had a wonderful and productive week, and looking forward to some rest on the weekend for those who have to work. Hope work will not be too busy for you this weekend. As usual, thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. Really appreciate each and everyone's support. Remember, when you come in, thumbs up the live, share us out if you can. And if you're new to the channel, please show us some support by subscribing. That will be greatly appreciated. Gonna send a special shout out to all our channel members and to all our moderators. Tonight's topic is Disruptor and Obstructionist with your host, Mystic Sensation, which is Baron and Anne-Marie. And we should be joined later by Melting Pot. Let me just go ahead and welcome everyone in the chat. Falmouth Girl 2, Dorothy McCoy, Patel Cruikshank, Beverly, Carla Ebanks, Maxwell Williams, Freedom, Karine, One Indian, Sherman Johnson, Noreen McLean, Jade Biggs, Marva Dice, Rosa, Barbara Giwa, Avery McCrae, Sonia Graham, Carnett Sterling, welcome. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Without any delay, I am going to hand over to Baron so I can do some housekeeping.
All right. Thank you, honey, for that precursor. Yes, and again, you know, a big umbrella welcome to all persons who are tuning in. Right, you just see PW202 or P just tuning in. Bless up yourself. Well, earlier today, my listeners, right, we spoke about, you know, misinformation and disinformation, and, you know, as it relates to the Jamaica Labour Party, right? But I have seen now that they have taken a step that seems to be extremely serious, and let me just call out the Jamaica Labour Party persons who involve as it relates to communication. Right, we know that Christopher Tufton, Abka Fitz-Henley, and Morgan, right? And what is wrong is when you have mainstream media, right, removing information from their website, particularly when those information has the potential in terms of investigation. And it is really serious, and I'm going to show that evidence. Now, as it relates to NHT, we have civil society who very concerned as it relates to the drawdown of the NHT, right? The continuous extraction of the NHT, where Andrew Holness is concerned, right? To utilize that within his budget space, right? It is a fundamental wrong because it put a strain on NHT in terms of not able, right, to build affordable homes for the contributors, right, who are paying into NHT, right, for so long, 5, 10, 15, 20 years. And it is unfair to the contribution. Remember that the NHT contribution has nothing to do with tax, right? The contribution is not tax. And I think that, NHT contributors are to take this very serious and bring Andrew Holness to court as it relates to the continuous drawing down on NHT, right? Such an issue can be taken into court, right? Because Andrew Holness, when Portia Simpson had done it in terms of a one-time use, Andrew Holness did take Portia Simpson to court. So we are asking the NHT contributors to take Andrew Holness to court, and rightly so. We are to do that, galvanize, right, and let us do that, right? Get a lawyer and bring a case in court against Andrew Holness to stop the use of that, right? We need to do that. And I wonder, I think I'm going to have to probably have some communication done with probably Isaac Buchanan, right? As it relates to, bring forth a case against Andrew Holness in terms of desist with the continuous extraction of the NHT. Let us get into the concern as it relates to NHT, right? And then we are going to show, and this is the reason why I found out that they are cleaning the web, cleaning their website. And we know that we have certain information relating to Observer. It was on Observer, it was on the Star, and it was in the Gleaner as well. So we are going to get to that. So here's a concern, right? Where, by Kimon Francis, senior staff reporter, NHT almost used as a goodie bag by PMs, says trade unionist. And it is true. It is true, right? Veteran trade unionist John Levy has poured cold water on Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness' announcement of a reduction in housing interest rates for some civil servants, arguing that the National Housing Trust is being misused. Levy, General Secretary of the Union of Clerical, Administrative and Supervisory Employees, told the Gleaner yesterday that successive administration have tinkered with the trust in ways that satisfy only a limited group of population, he claims. The NHT has been used by governments over these years as a tool to satisfy a segment of the marketplace who they maybe figure at a particular moment they need to do something for. I am not fond of those kinds of setups, right? Merit is what should determine how people receive the benefit. And as it relates to the NHT mandate, I think that is what Levy is saying here. Holness, who was making his contribution to the 2026-2027 budget debate in the House of Representatives earlier in the evening, said while his administration works to increase housing supply, It is also working to ensure that houses built are accessible to Jamaicans who need them the most, right? He said that effectively July 1st, 2026, teachers, nurses, firefighters, and members of the security and defense forces would benefit from a special reduced mortgage interest rate based on their length of service. For those with 5 to 10 years of service, the applicable interest rate will be reduced by 1%. And for those with service of 10 years or more, the rate will be reduced by 2%, said Oles. He said for our young Jamaicans under 35, the NHT will reserve a minimum of 20% of scheme units, double the previous allocation of 10%, and will provide an advance of up to $2 million to assist with deposit requirements for open market purchases. Further, he said effectively July 1st, the home improvement loan waiting period would be reduced from 7 to 5 years, giving existing homeowners faster access to funds for maintenance, security, green energy upgrades, and expansion. Owners also announced that in commemoration of its 50th anniversary, the NHT would break ground on New State Park in Manchester and in the Kingston and St. Andrew metropolitan area. However, Levy described the move as the haul and pulling of the trust, which is funded by mandatory monthly contribution from employers, employees, and self-employed individuals. NHT has been all and pull over the years, and it seems that there is no end in sight. As it relates to Andrew Holness, all and pull up it. With all its issues, governments continue to all and pull it. It is almost used as a goodie bag, he claimed, by prime ministers who keep it under their portfolio, Levy said. Right, and that pertaining to Andrew Holness, right? Pusha Simpson never the haul and pull it up, right? PJ Patterson did not haul and pull it up. PJ Patterson used it as a one-time use. Pusha Simpson used it as a one-time use. The man who the haul and pull it up is Andrew Holness, right? Is every year him living at it like how crab living in a hole. I am not fond of that kind of setup. I believe in merit, not necessarily years of service or under a certain age group. There might be people who are above or outside of the range that they are talking about that maybe genuinely deserve the benefit more than somebody they have designated by virtue of these years of service, he said. He said the NHT should be used to fund more development projects, right, where infrastructures is put in and beneficiaries build at their pace. And we have seen, my listeners, where the NHT, based on the NHT portfolio, right, they had collect, right, a lot more as it relates to from, contributors. But we have not seen the equilibrium or the balancing of the amount of money being collected, the amount of homes, right, being put in out, particularly low-income homes, right, so that it appease, right, those contributors and in tandem with the NHT mandate. Now, that has been absent for quite some time, which is true. I am not seeing much of that, said Levy. Yesterday, owners disclosed that NHT is managing, right, NHT is managing a housing portfolio of more than 41,000 solutions at various stages of development across the island. Remember, when Andrew Holness, right, gained office, he claimed that he would have constructed, right, 70,000 homes, over 70,000 homes. But here you're talking about going 10 years, and Andrew Holness had constructed less than 30 homes. Right? And while the NHT, particularly for the portfolio for 2025, right, is showing gross amount of collection, but building the homes are limited. And this is a problem. And here's Andrew Holness again. Yesterday, Holness disclosed that the NHT is managing a housing portfolio of more than 41,000 solutions at various stages of development across the island. We have to get into this because Andrew Honest is very tricky, you know, and we want for people to understand. So we are going to break down this, right? So when you have 41,000 solutions at various stages of development across the island, right? Take it for what it says, right? It says at various stages of development across the island. So for people who want to run with it and talk about and see the Andrew Honest, you understand, created over 41,000 houses. That is not what it is saying. That is not what it is saying, right? And so then we have to read with understanding, right? Here it is, right? 41,000 solutions at various stages of development across the island. Let us get into now the breakdown. Now, he said approximately 10,700 units are currently under construction. So, let me add that. So, Andrew Honest going third term, and we had promised that he would have delivered 70,000 units. This far out of the reach of the delivery, right? Because he delivered under 30,000. And here, what we see here, right? 10,700 units are currently under construction. So if we put that on it, right, it would be really going over, you know, 30 something going to 40,000, right? Now, 6,000 are at contract award stage, right? That means it's in the procurement process. Over 11,500 are in procurement and negotiations, right? And more than 11,600, right, in the planning and design phase, right? So, you know, if you add 6,000, 11,500 plus 11,600, right, you can see that those are just in planning stage, contract award stage, right? Contract has not been given out yet as it relates to 6,000 are at contract award stage, right? And 11,500 are in procurement, right? Negotiations, and more than 11,600 in the planning and design phase. So now, this is now a serious indictment on Andrew Honest. Serious indictment on Andrew Honest. Going 3 term, and what did you deliver? What did you deliver? That's why we said PR. We need to see service lots where you put in road and infrastructures and allow people to purchase these lots and to launch out. I want to see more of that. I think we have gotten enough of the apartments. I know land is always an issue, but there is still quite a bit of land around, said Levy. Take that away on it. So you know what? Because I know how Andrew Honest, right, damage NHT. Oh, Melting Pot is here. All right. Let me just, yes. Blessings, Pat, blessings. Because we know how Andrew Honest damaged the NHT. People, me know as it relates to my curiosity. Right? And me say, you know what? I want to do some deep dive yourself. Because Andrew Honest take NHT money and I give him friend, right? And where he also use NHT money and other taxes and put in a SSL. So me now take my curiosity self, right? And say, all right, let me looking at some things. Lift up the first document on it. Now I'm going to show you something, Jamaica. And as again, Christopher Tufton in charge of information, right? And so that is a situation that we said, okay, let us do the investigation, right? Yeah. Let me see this. No. No, up here. Okay, hold on, people.
Next one.
Yeah, let me see that. Okay, and then next one. Okay. Let us getting some. Let me just go into. All right, you can bring up the DEXIM. Let us go into the DEXIM. So I'm doing my research, right, Jamaican people, right? And we said, of course, Andrew Ones, based on what Andrew Ones is doing with NHT, it rendered NHT, right, unable to build low-income homes. So I searched for DEXIM, right, doing my Google search, and it says, yes, DEXIM Holdings Limited, referred to report as DEXIM, led by George Neal, reached a settlement in early 2024 to repay money to the National Housing Trust in Jamaica after failing to deliver on a housing development contract. Now listen, people, because this is Andrew Warner's friend, right? George Neal. And remember, you know, you have persons in the parliament who had warned Andrew Warner about George Neal, you know, not to do business with George Neal, you know. Right? Because George Neal, as it relates to in the United States, right, had involved in some corruption. And people pointed out that to Andrew Owners, and he still take NHT money and give to this man, knowing that this man is corrupted, right? But from source, information there said he helped Andrew Owners with his campaign in terms of giving sponsor Andrew Owners, you understand, certain money in a campaign. So this giving to DEXIM, people I want you to understand, seems to be what you call the political kickback. You understand, for DEXIM. Now watch this now, people. Key details of the DEXIM NHD case. The agreement in August 2019, DEXIM signed a contract to provide 200 houses in Discovery Basin and out of the Blue Development at a total cost of 2.5 billion by January 21. This is what Andrew Owners taking NHT money doing, you know. Taking NHT money doing. Now, breach and lawsuit, the NHT advanced 650 million to DEXIM, you know. By September 2022, the NHT sued DEXIM, stating that after nearly 3 years, no units were delivered. Want to see what Andrew Owners, right, and Nigel Clark, right, taking contribution money to do contributors money, giving to them friend, giving it to George Neal. No units were delivered, and DEXIM was selling the lots assigned to the trust on the open market at higher prices. Trick them the system, you know. Trick the system, you know. Right? The houses was supposed to deliver to NHT. You understand? Him take the NHT money. You understand? Bill wine for bill and sell it on the open market for higher prices. You see the criminal network, and where people had warned Andrew Owners not to deal with George Neal because George Neal, right, found guilty of certain situations in the United States. You understand? But again, we all know that Andrew Owners love deal with criminals. And see it here, this is the perfect thing that happened. Settlement terms, and that settlement reached via mediation around January 2024. DEXIM agreed to refund the 650 million advance payment plus an additional 20 million. Now, Jamaica, take it away, honey. So these are the criminality that Andrew Owners, Nigel Clark, you understand, and the man at NHT, the NHT director, has been doing with taxpayers' money. You understand? So we are calling it out. So me now decide to say, all right. Then when we search, you understand, because I want to show my listeners them as it relates to taxpayers' money where you put into NHT. And you're gone in a parliament and talk about what you want to do and where, blah, 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 blah. You understand? You're a big puff of wind. You're a promiser, not a deliverer. You understand? And everybody know that. Anything where you're in is just 100% criminality, and it will want to show the people them. You understand? As it relates to your criminal behavior and wholeness. You understand what you are doing with the trust. Right? Now, so me take myself and say, all right, let me search for the document. Right? As it relates to DEXIM and NHT. Now look at people. Here it is. This is the document I want. Okay. Yes. So Jamaica people, let me tell you now what I go on. I say, all right. We know so we have the information out there as it relates to Andrew Holness, as it relates to Andrew Holness, Nigel Clark, who agreed to put NHT and other tax, right, into tax monies into SSL. Paper, look here, look at my fine. Because I spoke with Ratty last week, and I said to Ratty, then if Andrew Holness and Nigel Clark, you understand, would have been now cognizant that SSL does not have a license, then why did Andrew Holness and Nigel Clark and the NHT director put NHT and other tax money into SSL? Look what the internet has said now, people. That's why I'm telling you to say, search, deal with Google search. Watch it now. After I search for the information there, you understand? Google search, I tell me now, so them wipe it off. Watch the sound, people. Here, see here. Based on the provided search results, there is no information indicating that National Housing Trust contributions, education taxes, or other taxes were placed into SSL, Stocks and Security Limited in Jamaica. People, take that away on it. Me only are showing the people. Me only are showing you, say, this information. I want to ask Christopher Tufton, Abka Fitz Edley, and Morgan. Right? And I want to ask Observer, want to the information, where the information there? You can't hide it, you know. Because I still have the information, you know. It's just to the fact that I did not have time to really search on my file. But I have it and I took it as a picture. So you can't hide it. And I am going to spend the time, you understand, tomorrow to search for it. So you clean it. Because I spoke to Rattigan and I asked Rattigan the question. That's why I said when I come tonight, I am going to show the people the evidence of what Andrew Holness administration doing. If you people are innocent, why are you cleaning? Why are you cleaning the web? Why are you cleaning? So let me say this to you, Observer. Observer, listen, you need to put it back. Star, please put back the information. Put back the information, because let me tell you something, Star and Observer. You cleaning the information. That information already packaged as it relates to in investigation, in the investigator's file. What are you doing? What are you guys doing? You not cleaned up for the politics? So let me ask you a question. You never take NHT money, NIS, egg tax, and put in a SSL. Well, this is the problem that you people are in. Because guess what? It has to be asked that if you, Andrew Holness, JLP administration, knew that SSL doesn't have a license and SSL cannot trade, then the legitimate question to ask is, then why? What was the reason or reasons for you to put NHT, EdTax, NIS money? So not try, one can't hide it. It is out there. You can't hide it. So Christopher Tufton, talk to them. After Fitz-Henley, if I you do it, put it back. Put it back. Now, having said that, Melting Pot, let me just bring you right to make you talk on this issue, because we know, so we have information where they had put EdTax, NIS. You need to change around the camera, Melting Pot.
Take off rotation.
Take off rotation.
Put it on rotation.
Put it on rotation, right? Okay, so this is what I'm saying, people, and there is a clear evidence. Jim and hold on, it is Andrew Owens who coming out, you know, and talking about misinformation and disinformation, and look what they are doing, right? People, look what they are doing. Let me just continue to speak until Melting Pot come in. Now, Jamaican people, you know that I have an issue. You understand, with the DPP, and we only show you the entire corruption and show you, say, right, the DPP is not working, right? DPP is not working. So at the same thing as it relates to the SSL situation, you know, let me show you now, right, as it relates to the DPP, right? Now, let us go to the consolidated update on SSL. Let us give them the consolidated SSL. Cleaning the site, right? Cleaning the site now go help you know. We can't tell you that. Cleaning the site is not going to help you. Now, people, let me show you the lies, what they are planning, right? The lies that they are telling. Now, let me just get down to the transfer of proceeds of international securities. Pure lie. Them telling that this is a document here. Now, let us look on the let us deal with 2.0, temporary management, transfer of account, which part they are telling pure lie. At the time that SSL came under temporary management, it held a portfolio of off-balance sheet assets across thousands of clients' accounts. The orderly winding down of SSL requires the transfers of these assets to clients after clients contacts SSL and provide acceptable know your customer and identification information. Now, 2.2, as according to the report, transfer of local securities. Transfer began in September and as at April 16, 24, people, nothing like that. Nothing like that. And when you have government orchestrated systemic lies, now look at us now, bulletin point number 1. 1,230 client accounts totaling approximately 15.37 billion Jamaican dollars of local equity and fixed income securities were transferred to accounts specified by these clients. That a lie. That a lie, people. That a lie. Bulletin point number 2, Jamaican dollar cash of approximately 665 million for 338 clients has been paid over to these clients. Again, lie. 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 Andrew Owens and Nigel Clark, lie. Bulletin point number 3, therefore a total of 16.35 billion, approximately 70% of Jamaican dollar denominated assets held in SSL off-balance sheet portfolio have now been transferred to clients. Lie again. Jamaican dollar domination assets, including Jamaican equity and fixed income securities and Jamaican dollar cash, for the remaining Jamaican dollar securities totaling 7.6 billion in value. The temporary manager is pursuing an agreement with a trust company for the en bloc transfer of these remaining Jamaican dollars assets, which will be held by the trust company in custody for clients. More details will be provided once this agreement is finalized. SSL continues to process requests to transfer available cash balances, clients are required to submit their requests, including payment details, to the service team. Lie, pure lie. Not one person, not one of those investors get back any money. 2.3, right? Transfer of the proceeds of international securities. So let me just quickly go down to 4.0 to show Jamaica what I was talking about when we talk about the DPP, right? Not doing anything. And although we have the case, right, as it relates to persons being charged, right, they are still hiding the truth. They are still hiding the truth, people. Now, look at this. This is Nigel Clark, statement here. As I mentioned in my opening budget presentation in March 2023, and again in March 2024, with respect to the investigation into SSL, the policy position of the government is that we will make available whatever resources are required to ensure a thorough, fair, complete, and independent investigation. We will also leave no stone unturned. On no say lie that Jamaican people, on no say Nigel Clark run gone, leave it. Him never lift up not even one of the stones. Nigel Clark did not even lifted up one of the stones. Follow the evidence wherever it may lead and seek international assistance. He never did that. The only international assistance he had sought is CRAL. Now, this is the policy that has been implemented, as according to him. As the previous updated, CRAL Assistance UK Limited, a renowned international investigation firm, was engaged to undertake an independent forensic audit. And so then when we talk about where the report was sent to the DPP, Paula Llewellyn, you are not a forensic auditor. You are absolutely not a forensic auditor. These people have the skills, these people have the talent, right? You're way out of your bounds, Paula Llewellyn, right? Now, to understand the facts relating to the fraud perpetrated at Stocks and Security Limited over the period 2010 to 2023, the company was selected because it did not have any connection in Jamaica. When you're listening now, people, I want to hear. The company was selected because it did not have any connection in Jamaica and because its vast experience given the complexity of the matter. So they are telling you the reason why this company was selected, because this company is very advanced. No, and because of the matter is so complex, and the large volume of transaction, and the number of accounts held by clients, and the number of bank accounts held by SSL network of companies. So it was too wide, right? So Jamaica has no, I would say, sets of experience, right, that could have garnered this investigation. They have to seek it outside. Now, listen, people. The CRAL team, working with the support of the government agencies, they came in and they work with the government agencies, including the FID and FSC, the Financial Service Commission, utilize technology. So look who they're working on, people. The FID, they work with CRAL, and FSC, they work with CRAL, right? So the FID and FSC utilize technology, data analytics, and forensic expertise to produce a comprehensive and independent report of its findings in November 2023. Remember that Paula Llewellyn said that this is not her cup of tea. She prefer to deal with, number 3 and other cases. Give her the run of the mill with those. She's not advancing this particular area. Now, the CRAL report has confirmed that the suspect fraudulent activity and mismanagement at SSL and its related parties were much broader than initially understood. Remember, people, At the time when Crawler do the investigation, you know, none of us in social media, right, was aware that SSL did not have a license, you know, to trade, you know. Remember, so none of we never know that, you know. Crawl investigators would have discovered that. They would have discovered that because they are the expert. So that information that they would have established, it keep locked by Paula Llewellyn, the DPP. Something more shown to people. With the benefit of this report, their own investigations, and through collaboration with other law enforcement agencies, the FID has publicly reported that a file was submitted to the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions for the consideration of criminal charges against individuals linked to the SSL network of companies and other companies pursuant to the Proceeds of Crime Act, Larceny Act, and the Financial Sector legislations. Take that away on it. So the question must be asked. The question must be asked that, okay, if there is a situation where SSL doesn't have a license to trade foreign currencies, doesn't have a license, security license, to conduct any of the business that they had conducted. The big question now, is it a situation that Nigel Clark would have known this? The big question is, yes, he would have known this. Because remember, right, Nigel Clark would have been getting, right, those usual reports on whatever time period, whether quarterly, right, or annually, he would have been updated. You understand? So the bigger question, how did they aware that SSL don't have a license and allow SSL up to 2021 to create such a damage? You know where I'm going, people? Look, listen where I'm going now. You can understand why they would have allowed it. Because SSL was the JLP campaign unit fund, taking investors' money to fund JLP campaigns and elections. So then you understand now the full use of SSL. Why you would understand the full use of SSL? Okay, Mystic, take us. Let us make it a little bit clearer for us, right? Why did you say that? Okay, I said this based on the interview that Rattigan and myself had done, right, with a significant member in SSL, right? A significant member in SSL who definitely spoke and said Darrell Vaz handled multiple GLP accounts in SSL. Darrell Vaz was the person who in charge of those accounts in SSL. It did not stop there alone, people. Also, right, the interviewee also stated that Darrell Vaz used money out of NHT to send his daughter to university in the United States. Right? That was communicated on the Mystic Sensation with that interview. Since that interview has been aired, Darrell Vaz has not come out. Has not come out and disrepute it. Silent until we speak, people. Dead, silent. Nothing. Zero. Nothing. Not a word. And you know, we are waiting on him to speak. And I know he has not spoken. So then you, GLP, try to clean information. It must be asked of Andrew Honest. Must be asked of Nigel Clark. Nigel Clark need to come back to Jamaica. Right? If Mocha serious and FID serious. So this is what we are going to put now on the table. FID, whatever you are doing, those questions has to be asked. Those questions have to be asked as it relates to SSL. Don't have a license. The question, was Nigel Clark aware? Because none of the answer is good enough. Let me speak to you, Jamaica. None of the answer is good. If Nigel Clark said he doesn't aware that SSL don't have a license, then the next question that the investigator should come with, then okay, all right, since you said you don't aware, then what sort of audit FSC done on SSL? What sort of audit that FSC would have done on SSL in 2017? Because before the auditors begin, the auditors would have to understand that, okay, SSL has the legitimate requirement to be operating, right, as it relates to what they were doing. So let us see the license first. That is the first thing. You understand that the auditors would have gotten out of the way. And then the auditors now would have sent the report to who? Nigel Clark. The auditors would have sent the report to Nigel Clark. And Nigel Clark would have communicated it to Andrew Honest. Nigel Clark. So you can't say under no circumstances that you were not aware. And so now Jamaica have to look on you as what? Complicit. Your involvement. You have to be complicit. And if you aware Nigel Clark and you aware Andrew Honest that SSL don't have a license, you can see why FID have a problem right now. Because, I mean, Jamaica need question. Jamaica need answer. Jamaica need answers. Come on, Jamaican people, let us reason. Jamaican need answer and investors need answers. As a matter of fact, the investors who are involved in SSL would have need these answers. And the investors wanted to ask you, Nigel Clark and Andrew Honest, sir, you know that they didn't have a license. Why did you allow them to continue? Why did you allow them to continue to rob over $5.8 billion? Isn't this another financial meltdown of the 90s that Andrew Honest and you cross carry? Right? Definitely play a role where the 90s financial meltdown is concerned. So come again now, flip the coin. So Andrew Honest, why are you speaking about FinSac? What? Finsack boss. You know, not Finsack boss. Participants of the 90s financial meltdown. King participant. Why are you speaking about Finsack? When the world today, since you are speaking about Finsack, the world today, locally and in the diaspora, and people outside of sovereign Jamaica looking at you and said, but Bulan, then why are you talking about Finsack when you wrapped up and tied up with you cross carry that definitely involved in the 90s financial meltdown with Paul Cheng Young? So why are you speaking about Finsack? Why are you speaking? What you have to say? You are here now. And let me ask you. You didn't aware that SSL do have a license? Bangarang fear, you know. These are serious questions. And you will run out. Eh? With your audacity, running out, talking about Finsack. Who you think you can fool, Master? Who you think you can trick? Okay, let me move on. I only want to set the record straight out there to show the people who they defend you what they need to look on. Josh Davis, you need to look on this. Josh Davis and Big Mama, you need to ask Andrew Holness if he was aware that SSL did not have a license. And if he was aware, then ask him, sir, then why did you put the NHT, NIS, EdTax, you wiping it off of the net now, go save you. Because nobody now go ask no question about wipe off of the net. You understand? Investigators would have gotten that already. Right? The crawl investigators, you understand? Definitely, you understand, would have captured that already. So now we can understand. Now Jamaica have an insight to understand some of the things in the crawl report. Yes, these are some of the bangarang. These are some of the predicaments, the conundrum in the crawl report. That's why you cannot be vindicated. This is the reason why you cannot be vindicated. Bangarang over there. Bangarang over there. Okay. All right. Since we finish away with that, let us move to some serious things now. Right? Now let us get into, right, the bottle what well on honey. Okay, yes, let us get into, yeah, let us get, we done that? All right, yeah. Let us get into that. All right, let us listen to this clip.
Prime Minister Holness, you're so out of touch with the ordinary Jamaican that you don't even know, say, a bottle of ordinary water of $100 on the streets. Wanna listen to this?
This This is NWC water. NWC water. So this is about $20. And of course, now that I brought it here, when I heard the protestations of the need of the opposition that we have to cost more than gas. So yes, if you want everyone know some other. But that's not the question. The question is, why would the leader of the opposition go and buy water that costs more than gas when there are other options that are more economical? Madam Speaker, to me, it tells me that I wouldn't trust him with managing my economy.
No, Jamaica, who would you trust with the economy? The one where know what the struggles of the ordinary Jamaicans on the street? Or this man where I go say water for $45? Which Jamaica you are talking about? Which Jamaica you live in, Andrew Holness?
Take it away. Now,
Prime Minister Holness.
let us start now, Jamaica. I want my people to talk the truth now. Which one of the prime ministers you would trust? A prime minister, right, that keep his ears on the ground. A prime minister who is well associated. A prime minister who is well connected. A prime minister who have a level of awareness and alertness. A prime minister who had known very well that, of course, you have water, right, as it relates to persons selling it for more than $100. Which one of the prime minister would you trust that this prime minister now lack knowledge? Lack knowledge because he don't know that. So when he must say, right, you would trust, which one of the prime minister you would trust? The prime minister who is going to buy more expensive thing, foolishness. Right? The information is there and he is totally oblivious. And it is not that he is oblivious, you know about it, you know. You understand? But it goes to him connivingness. You understand? Him is a trickster. Trickster. So then, here it is that a Mark Golding who is well-rounded, it goes to show you that Mark Golding understands what is going on through the length and breadth of Jamaica, and Andrew Holness is unaware. He doesn't know. He doesn't know, right, that the bottle of water being demonstrated, being selling in some areas for $100 and even more than $100. He doesn't know. Let us flip this now. So, Prime Minister, you do not aware that many of the people who suffered as it relates to Hurricane Melissa don't even get any access to government and still suffering. You don't know because you have demonstrated that. Your lack of knowledge. You have demonstrated that clear in the parliament. It appears as if you really don't know that many people are still suffering. And really, it appears as if you don't know that not only Hurricane Melissa, people who are affected from Hurricane Beryl has not gotten any benefit from the government. So you really don't know. So you are not connected because remember, you know, you're a billionaire now. You're a billionaire, so you can't come down to the common man again. You remember when you were hungry for this, right? You put on your clocks, you go into the community, you roll up your pants foot, you walk barefoot. You now walk barefoot again. You now put on no clocks again. So your last touch. Your last touch. You are no more connected to the people again. You are no longer connected to the people. You're up there now. You are within the elites. You are within the bubble. Right? So you don't care again and try to understand what is happening, right, with the poor and needy. Well, you have lost again. You have lost again. You beat yourself in parliament. You have just shown Jamaica that you have lost touch as it relates to the poor and needy.
This was never in touch.
Right? And as what my wife said, you were never in touch. You have lost the touch. And so then Mark Golin would have known that persons are paying, right, more than $100 for a bottle of water. He would have known because guess what? Mark Golin is in touch. And you are out of touch. Note. Now, let us get into the next clip and show them. Right? Yes, honey, I love how you're working. Let us get into the next clip and show them. Right? Mark G. Right? When we talk about good governance. Right? And that's why we are happy to know that Mark G, of course, is at the helm, right? The opposition, right? They are at the helm, right? And they are definitely holding you as it relates to checks and balance. Don't twist and turn around here. It is not when you have to deal with 14. Now you have 28 to deal with. Now let us play one of the 28.
Madam Speaker, thousands of Jamaicans are trapped in a cycle of debt, which prevents them from moving forward. They owe property taxes, they owe traffic tickets, they owe water bills, they owe student loans. Interest and penalties have often grown larger than the original debt, and they cannot see a way out. Providing a genuine second chance to these Jamaicans so that they can start over again is a powerful way to build back better than before. We should offer them a second chance for a clean slate. We would give people some room to restart and recover. We would forgive outstanding interest and penalties owed to the government on these debts. And we would provide a moratorium payment for the repayment of principal. This is an investment in economic activity. When people are freed from the weight of unpayable debt, they can start to build back their lives. Most often, they benefit from learning where they went wrong before and avoiding repeating those past mistakes. You won't get 100% improvement, but in any good idea, if you're getting majority benefits, and that's worth doing. Many will start businesses. Some will buy homes. They will contribute to the economy. Madam Speaker, clean slate is not just compassionate. It is economically sound. It is another building back. It's another building block in the foundation of building back better than before. Madam Speaker, thousands of Jamaicans.
All right. Now let us show Jamaica. When we said that the People's National Party, right, is in touch, right, with the poor and needy. Now, let us show Jamaica that your interest is not about building Jamaica, right, and the prosperity for Jamaica. It is all about you and, of course, your lab rats. Now let us play the clip, honey. Let us hear him out, my Jamaican people. We are juggling tonight. Now let us hear him out.
Labour Party has performed as a government in the last 2 terms over and above other governments since.
Now, Jamaica, I want you to listen to this narcissist. I want you to listen to this man that I think now this is he has a mental problem. He has a mental problem, right? I really now start to think that, you know, this man, totally out of it, totally lost it. But I'll pull up again. Make me hear what you say. Start him over again on it. Why if you hear what you say?
I've been fighting. The Jamaica Labour Party has performed as a government in the last 2 terms over and above other governments since independence in Jamaica.
Whoa.
On almost all metrics, the Jamaica Labour Party has outperformed. There has never been a government to have cut crime in half, cut the national debt in half, cut poverty in half, presented 10 budgets with no net new taxes, to have actually given back taxes to the people, to have cut taxes, and to have taken on some of the previously thought to be intractable or impossible problems and address them in substantial ways. In other words, our government has transformed the fundamentals of Jamaica. But let's look at it from another perspective. There's never been a government in independent Jamaica that has had to deal with a pandemic. And we dealt with the pandemic, coming out of it very rapidly, without increasing our debt, without cutting one job in the public sector or cutting any pay in the public sector. And immediately after, increasing public sector wages by the largest increase ever in the history of Jamaica. But more than that, we were hit by a Category 5 hurricane, and then we had 8 solid weeks of rains and tropical storms which damaged our infrastructure, and we were able to recover quickly from that. So on all metrics of performance, the Jamaica Labour Party has done well. No one contests whether or not the Jamaica Labour Party has performed. Even the most jaded and biased voter has to concede this point. Now,
stop him.
I am not saying that we're a perfect government.
Stop him.
But you can't come.
Stop him. Just stop him right there, sir.
Take it away or leave it.
Take it away, honey. Now, Andrew Honest. Let this person tell you, say, you are the worst government since independence. Eh? The worst government since independence. Now, let me bust your bubbles, Andrew Honest, and let us talk about the minimum wage. Right? Since you're upon the minimum wage. Now go bust your bubble tonight. I'm going to give you facts. Now, let me write down the facts here. In 2012 to 2015, what was Portia Simpson as it relates to minimum wage? Minimum wage under Portia Simpson was an average of $6,000. $6,000, because you think you're smart, you know. That's why I tell Jamaica, say, we're glad we're out in the space, you know. You hold it right there, now, Andrew, because I know you listen to me, you know. So may you reason now, Andrew. Make a roll up to your time 2016 to 2026. Right? And we give you where you have increased the minimum wage roughly about 2 to 3 times, right? Now, before you put on the last piece of money, we talk about where it was, $16,000 or $17,000? $16,000. Let me give you the $16,000 there. So now come now, Andrew Honest. In 2012, between the period 2012 to 2015, as it relates to the minimum wage, $6,000, I am asking you, Andrew Honest, how many items the $6,000 could have purchased? What was the cost of one bread in between 2012 and 2015? What was the cost for one bread? Go back and look, Andrew Honest. You're talking about $150. $150. Me just use the bread pan you. I just bread me use pan you. So Andrew Honest, now that you have $16,000 minimum wage, what is the cost of one bread now? People, let me see the chat. I want to put it in the chat, people. But I want to know a cost of bread. I don't want nobody try to exaggerate it. I want to put the cost in the chat for me. Wind up. How much is it for a loaf of bread? I want to hear from the people. I don't want the people. I don't want you to hear from me. I want you to hear from the people in the chat. People want to put up much. You have to go down on the bottom so that when I put the team, see it. All right. What is the cost? Anyone answer yet?
They're almost $600.
Almost $600. $565. Right? So when you look on the rate of inflation, can you not talk about that? You're not talking about that, Andrew Honest. Eh? You're not speaking about the rate of inflation. Portia Simpson, $6,000. Right?
The price varies.
Could have given a nice size basket, a good size basket with all the produce. And if you compare your basket size with your bread, and I'm going to take $500 because some people put $600. So I'm going to take $500. Right? That you are looking on, right? Partially 250% increase. You're not talking about that. So you're coming to parliament with a pretty mouth to show you that you're a snake eyes man. And you are not talking about the rate of inflation that reduce purchasing power. We are out here in the space. So then, in 2012 to 2015,
they're saying you know 2 pound bread is $500 barrel.
Yeah. So it's more?
Yes.
Okay, so it's more.
So Hurricane said she's paid.
Hurricane said
$65.
All right, when I put up the broadcast them, as the people them put it up, more want them seating them because I don't want them feel say, I make up things. You understand? I am talking to my community chat group. You understand? And see my community chat group, yeah, Hurricane Ati. You understand? I paid $865.
So they're telling you what your $500 that you're stating can buy. 3 small slice bun.
Right? So then, Andrew Honest, when you come out and you speak lies and speak up venom of poison, telling how no government as it relates to independence have done what you, no government as it relates to the independence have done what you have done as it relates to what you have committed under investigation? Which other prime minister? You tell me, Andrew, which other prime minister was under investigation by the Integrity Commission or by the Auditor General? Right? Which? Tell me. May I listen? Which prime minister was under investigation? Never. Let me give you the history and truth in terms of what you need to know. Never under the history of Jamaica as it relates to independence until now, a Jamaica prime minister apart from you under investigation. Never. Right? Under the history of Jamaica, under any, whether Bruce Golding, Edward Seaga, Michael Mann, any all of them, never yet that under any one of them administration where the Auditor General cannot give account for over $3 trillion. And never yet under any prime minister in the history of independence that the prime minister office is under investigation as it relates to the office of the prime minister involved, where billions of dollars, meaning the office of the prime minister, billions of dollars unaccounted for. Never yet. Never yet. And you come here say now the swing your lie. You come here say the swing your lie. Eh? No. How much was it for a pound of chicken in Portia Simpson time? How much is it for a pound of chicken under your time where inflation leave from the people them knee and gone up to them forehead? And that's where inflation reach. You never know, Andrew, want to say that's where inflation reach. Eh? You look on a bread what you used to sell in a Portia Simpson time for $150. No, as it relates to people in the chat, you understand? $600 and $700 and $800. You just said inflation leave for your knee, gone way up at your head. Now we have this inflation there. Eh? So when you're talking about $16,000, even if you're giving $25,000, it will not have the purchasing power like what $6,000 have had. Even if you were currently giving, this is what you're not speaking about, inflation and purchasing power. How inflation affect purchasing power? Because inflation so high. So high that it eat up, it creates a wave as it relates to the cost of basic commodity. You're not talking about that. You're not talking about your work is. No, somebody put light bill. Somebody put light bill. When it comes to Portia Simpson time, and I'm going to show you. What was the kilowatt, right, usage as it relates to the protection net under Portia Simpson? The protective net was 350 kilohertz per household user. 350. How much your government reduce it to? How much your government reduce it to? Your government had reduced it to 150. You see your what this? Who you think you can trick? Go ahead. Who you think you can trick? Me know you listen to me, you know. Who you think you can trick? Now, let us play the next clip on it.
You forget a part. You said that no other government has ever brought down the debt or cut the debt in half.
Oh, hold on.
Hold on.
Hold on.
You never hear that?
Hold on. Maybe address the part there, honey. no other government
Has ever brought down the national debt.
has ever brought down. That means Jamaica, come on. It goes to show you that the Prime Minister unaware. I never know. I not even realize him said that, you know. Hold on, the Andrew Honest.
Government since independent Jamaica.
Hold on, the Andrew Honest. That means you don't know. Andrew Honest, you don't know your political history. No, Andrew Honest. Where do you think me I go for this now, Andrew Honest? Andrew Honest, you don't know your political history. No, Andrew Honest. You lost. What no? Jamaica. Why this man is a prime minister and him don't know him political history? Eh? Now, come here, Andrew Honest. Andrew. Let me take time because I don't want to embarrass you. I don't want the people in the chat here. So I whisper the one. Andrew, you remember when Michael Manley leave office? Andrew, what was the debt per GDP ratio when Michael Manley departed or demits office? Talk to me, Andrew. You never know that, Andrew? Well, let me tell you, Andrew. The debt per GDP ratio, I don't want the people here in the chat. Because I don't want to embarrass them. I don't want to hear. So I whisper it in their ears. You understand? Andrew, the debt per GDP ratio when Michael Manley left was 63%. You know what that means, Andrew? It simply means that we use 63 cents out of the dollar to pay our debt and have 37 cents to flex. Hold on the Andrew. When Edward Seaga left it, where was it? I don't want the people in here. Now take time to tell you. When Edward Seaga left it, Andrew, it was 262. Come here, Andrew. Lend me your ears. When Michael Manley get it back and sick and give it to PJ, PJ Patterson took it down from 260 odd to 140 odd. Come here, Andrew, because you don't know this neither. Why? I don't want the people embarrassing. And this one are really embarrassing. So Andrew, you never know say PJ Patterson pay off the IMF. No, this man. Andrew, listen to history. People, this is bad. No, well, I'm have to breeze off and fun. Jamaica. No, sir. The Prime Minister done. The Prime Minister done, man. No, Andrew Honest. No. Andrew. No, I mean, say you're done, man. No, hold on there. No, you me hear. My name, Josh Davis. Oh, the Prime Minister, some Prime Ministerial. No, this is a joke. No, Andrew Honest. No, sir. No, I have to take some funnings. No, this is not normal. The Prime Minister don't know the political history of Jamaica. People, please like up the live there for me. Select this talk to one of them. Like up the live, share it out. Andrew Honest don't know the political history of Jamaica. No, sir, this bad. No, this is bad. No, people. No, then, hold on, you can't blame the supporters then. You can't blame the supporters if the supporters them done. Can't blame them. The leader done. The leader pass done. Can't blame the supporters them. No, sir. This serious. Jamaica, this serious. Andrew Honest said never yet in the history of Jamaica. Right? No other Prime Minister, no other administration. Boy, you really done. No, liar. You done bad. No, sir. So I'm going to take off that honey. Now, Let me show you what never happened under no other prime minister. Civil society group, come on. Let me show you what never happened under no other prime minister. Beat and teach you tonight. Eh? Beat and teach you. Marky G, tell me the secret of beat and teach you. So that me I do. Now, civil society group demand accountability from public bodies, ministries in breach. Now, watch out. See it here? Janet called on this, you know. The government is expected today to table in Parliament the estimates of expenditure along with several budget-related documents detailing how more than $1 trillion of taxpayers' money will be spent in the upcoming financial year. Watch it now. However, even as the spotlight is on the budget and the government spending, a number of civil society groups are demanding greater accountability from some public bodies and ministries which remain in breach of the Public Bodies Management and Accountability Act. Those breaches result from their failure to submit to the Auditor General backlogs of appropriation accounts and financial statement. But hold on, let me see when this document will come out. Because not that minute, February 12, 2026. But hold on. So then, tell me something. How about the backside this? Now this may I talk about as it relates to the appropriation account. So then when Flavel came out and said she was going to fix that. So I know that no fix.
You know, everything is word of mouth for them. Nothing.
How about the backside this may I see so?
All talk and no action.
What are they? That means a big thief instead of one. And they not fix the gap. Eh? They not fix the gap. They not fix the gap. When the king gap, they look over the DPP. Now the gapper left the DPP and put in forehead. Gapper left the DPP office and put in forehead. So forehead, let me ask you a question, forehead. You know, sister, the problem here, so, right, still exists. Those breaches result from their failure to submit to the Auditor General backlog of appropriation accounts and financial statement. No, sir. The discussion arose against the background of Jamaica's failure to improve on the annual corruption perception index, which showed the country in inertia again this year, recording a score of 44 out of 100. Remember, you know, Andrew Owen still did it. We don't expect it to move. I don't understand. I want to them. Only if you expect it to advance with Andrew Oles. Andrew Oles still in a power. Only remember say Andrew, listen. Only must anticipate that it is going to reduce and get to worse. Don't expect it to advance and get better. Andrew Oles that. You know, see the appropriation account situation. You understand? Still creating a problem for the Jamaica Labour Party. Eh? Now, see that? Where 0 means highly corrupt and 100 is very clean. And look over there. 44. And who? Andrew Owners. And who make it go 44? Look at talk. Look at talk. We don't want to escape that. Who make it go 44? Mark Bolin. Talk it, no man. Mark Bolin make it leave from 38 to 44. Why did it leave from 44? When Mark Bolin drafted the Integrity Commission Act and it was shuttled in law by, you know who caught up in a cash plus holding SSL. Because him can't tap it, you know. And see that? And for Mark Bolin, put him inspiration upon it. It can't improve no better. Can't improve no better. Boy, I tell you, Jamaica. Well, we are on him. We are on him. Right? Janet Carter, Executive Director of Jamaica Accountability Meter Portal, said Section 25th of the PBMA sets out a clear approach to dealing with the heads of public bodies who preside over years of outstanding annual reports and financial statement. So that again, Andrew Wallace, never yet in the history of administration, other administration, over 10 years, a appropriation account cannot be submitted. Where the appropriation account supposed to submit it annually so that the Auditor General can keep a track of government expenditures. So on deliberately they blind the Auditor General. This is what it means, no people. They deliberately blinding the Auditor. Unnecessary criminal. Unnecessary criminal. She pointed out that the law indicates that if the court is satisfied an application by the Attorney General that any person has contravened provisions in the law, including the non-submission of annual reports and audited financial statement, the head of that agency could be ordered to pay a pecuniary penalty not exceeding 1 million. You know what needs to happen here, so Janet Calder, right? What should be mandatory? A fine and imprisonment should be mandatory. Not only a fine. Come remember, say them rich now, you know. Them thief for them can't thief now, and them have billions of dollars. So $1 million no nothing for them pay. So then this law needs to be amended. You have to put teeth in the system that need to come with fine and confinement. Simple means put up this to $3 million. Right? And slap a fine of 5-year imprisonment on them. And see if they wouldn't submitted it. They would and see if they wouldn't submit it on time. Amend this. This needs to be amended. And when the PNP get in power, this needs to be amended. Right? A $3 million fine. And a confinement of 5 years imprisonment. And see if we don't clean up that. See if we don't clean up that. Noting that the public bodies were given an ultimatum by the Attorney General in 2014. They now listen to you. Carla said notice were sent to 15 heads of agencies, giving them a 3-month deadline to submit outstanding annual reports and financial statement, failing which they would be dragged before the court. The anti-corruption campaigner said 14 out of 15 public bodies complied with the notice within the stipulated timeline, and the other asked for an extension. However, Carla said the provision that was utilized by the Attorney General Department in 2014, to spur the heads of state bodies into action was never used again. So under Portia Simpson time, it was used. And as a result of that, under Portia Simpson time, you understand, 14 out of 15, right, fall in line. But under Andrew Holness now governance, see it, however, Carla said the provision that was utilized by the Attorney General Department in 2014 under Portia Simpson time to spur the heads of state bodies into action was never used again. Was never used again. So Andrew Holness loose. Andrew Holness loose. Broke down every rules and guidelines. Take this away on it. And as a result of him loose, as a result of him being loose, look what is happening. Oh, Melting Pot is here. Okay. All right, but me now waste no time, Melting Pot. Let me just bring you in right away. You understand? For give your comment. Right? Yes, Melting Pot. What say you on the matter here?
Well, what I'm hearing right now as it relates to what Jean Calder is putting out. I am looking at something that doesn't carry any substantial penalty, so they will always
Exactly.
practice what they are doing. As it relates to the non-submission of them statutory declaration, 1 million, you're crazy. 25 million and 10-year imprisonment.
Agreed.
That are my deterrent factor. And that clean up right away. 25 million, these people are wealthy people. And it's a particular reason why they don't want to submit nothing on time. The Andrew Holness administration ideology when them going into politics was to rob Jamaica money. You understand? And become wealthy so they can't do no submission. All of them is in breach of the Integrity Commission Act as it relates to what they have in regards to what they should have. These people have been practicing finger fearing and finger smithing within the parliamentary system. And all of them have become wealthy million and billionaire. Yeah. And so the penalty, is too lenient. What $1 million can do to these people? Can't do nothing. It's like a slap on the wrist. Like what them get Mama Cow. You understand? These people must be looking at 10-year minimum in prison and 25 million in fine. And I know that will rectify the problem that Jamaica have. Because all when you highlight the problem, them don't fix it. Them continue to use the corruption tool. And so it's like they're laughing at everybody and making a mockery of the society. This kleptocratic regime government where Andrew administrate. That is why you look on even the earlier segment, when you talk about Dexim holding, Remember, you have other practice of similar circumstance. Montague and the police use car. That contract fell through. Yeah. Pumvas and the 1.4 billion Jamaican dollars as it relates to the all school buses. That contract fell through as well. So Dexim holding contract with the NHT to provide 200 houses must fell through because of the corruption practice. There is no stemming of the tide as it relates to corruption in Jamaica. And you cannot stem that because everybody is having a field day because the head of the administration is so corrupt and in such a breach of a lot of billions of Jamaican dollars and trillions of Jamaican dollars as it relates to the finding by the Auditor General. It cannot stop. And you will not stop until they're behind the prison bar. Other members likewise from his cabinet will not stop the practice until they are put behind the prison bar. Because they know all about how Andrew rigged the society, Know some control the people to keep them in the society and out of prison. And we have said that have to root out. Because that is evil of all evil as it relates to corruption. You can't have people like the man in the case where pick the Aki up at the Governor General place, but him got jailhouse. But people are thief trillion and billion and million. And now enter even into a courthouse, much less to be sent to prison. Unbelievable. So all of these mess, we have to sort them out. And analyze them with this guy and tell him to charge for treason. Because I hear you talk certain things and it grieve me, No other government has paid off the debt.
Paid it down to half.
Pay it down to half, no, but PMP government pay off all of the debt.
All right.
You understand? And give him a red carpet economy. And him trample all over it with the money boot and him corrupted tool. And destroy the economy. You understand? And you cannot speak and not with clarity, Everything Andrew tell a lie because remember, Mark G disconnect in brain box, Him not a brain again, Disconnected. You understand? And so him is just a fragile of the image of a man. Much less would be a prime minister. It's garbage. You understand? all the Cinderella game where Andrew Wallace a play, Andrew realized it a come to an end. Yeah? Him realize that, you know.
Yes.
This is why him find himself chatting gibberish everywhere him go right now. Yeah? Because this guy don't even know the history of the country. Remember him saying, you know, in 1968, Edward Seaga as Prime Minister, you know, introduced UDC. Seaga wasn't the Prime Minister in the 60s.
Mad. Mad.
Seaga wasn't the Prime Minister in the 60s, you know. So garbage Andrew come out and a spew them waste matters the all time out. Unbelievable. And we are saying to Jamaican people, just look at the leader, look at the state of the leader, and you will know the state of the country. Him all over the shop. Yeah, just like all the countries all over the place in a mess of corruption. These people have done nothing but destroy Jamaican people life. Yeah. Now we see the grocery list. The grocery list is a disgrace. 2 slices of bread, big jill of coconut oil, a little package, plastic package of cornflakes. Cornflakes sell by the box, people. For Christ's sake.
And a squeeze of toothpaste.
And a squeeze of toothpaste.
Yeah. A bottle of water. If you are over $100 in a some case, $100 minimum. Let me tell Jamaican people, Jamaican are supposed to have a bottle of water.
And a bag of oil.
You understand? This is how the man ravish the economy, you know, and mash up the society, you know. But yet still you still have people advocating for him. And they behind him and support him like one big nasty ugly one. Where she not no teeth. Yeah. Her teeth scatter and look nasty. And she come out and she ridicule Sir Marky G. But we don't know Sir Marky G she talk about still. Yeah. Because a one individual in Jamaica where all of the blame supposed to heap upon and it's the Prime Minister. The opposition now have nothing to do with the running of the country. What the opposition is there to do is to make sure him put a dent in the corruption. And Marky G do that right now. Yeah, and that's why Andrew and him administration them are run scared of Marky G and the People's National Party. This 28, yeah. I know back in the days I grew up, I hear them talk about 28 South Cutlass. This 28 member of parliament that chopped through the corruption in a parliament. Yeah, from the opposition side. And I like how them have ramped up the pressure on the administration in recent week. So I know going forward, Andrew will run out of parliament and I'll come back, he might disappear. Yeah, at that me I look on, you know. I'm going to disappear. Because Andrew realized that fame and fortune that when possessed in a parliament over the last decade. Him not have that again in him. He don't have a smidgen of that. You understand? You might have to sit down and listen when the big man, Sir Marky G, a chat. You understand? And call him out specifically upon certain topical point of discussion. And label accusation towards him and say, it's you I'm talking to.
Yes.
You understand? That is a commanding rendition of a parliamentary budget speech. Yeah? Where Andrew have never experienced in his life. Yeah? I don't know if he even go back home up at Beverly Hills where I'm going like him at the king. Cause everybody look on him and laugh after him. Cause I'm shame like a Lapier's dog, you know. Marky G shame him like a Lapier's dog. When can't even answer. Him just sit down there like, you know, Andrew in a wilderness. But him can't in a wilderness still, you know. Him in a Alice land. With the crab woman round a hero circle. Yeah. Him in a Alice land, man.
Alice land.
Sit down. Yeah. Shame, you know. Like how you say Alice did shame, you know.
Yes.
Yes, man. No. When you look on the housing crisis in Jamaica, and when you look at you see where Andrew, you know, start to do with it by bringing outsiders, yeah, into NHT, business affair.
Yes.
We know, say, that's him holding, never have nothing to do with building houses. Him do him need have no machinery to start. Yeah? him get the 650 million Jamaican dollars from NHT, yeah? And the promise that he would have delivered 200 houses, yeah? By in a 3-year period time, yeah? At a cost of 2.5 billion Jamaican dollars, all right? Now, you swear them go wrong when them bring in this guy, George Neal. Them they are criminal, you know.
Yeah, man, criminal lot.
George Neal a criminal. And if Andrew was in one, yet not to enter into any business agreement with George Neal, why did Andrew did so? Yeah. And why did Andrew even give Dexim Holding this contract? Well, we know Dexim did participate in a political campaign. So, you know, him have to give something now. Yeah, for the work when done. This is how Jamaica run. But you give a man a tool for fix a plane when them can't fix a hand cat. Yeah, that totally wipe out that investment, you know. And that is why Dexim could not deliver the 200 houses on time and did not deliver them any at all. He make them and sell them for himself. The man breach contract with NHT, you know. Andrew Hollis to come out and say nothing. Andrew quiet on that. So we are looking at Andrew as a mafia. I keep telling people in Jamaica. Andrew Hollis is a mafia.
DPP make him get away with it, Pat. DPP make him get away with it.
Well, because him put them around him. The DPP, the Commissioner of Police, Smoker, and all the other state agents were supposed to deal with criminal affairs. Remember, Andrew locked them there, you know. We know that Andrew locked them in a mistake. Yeah? Andrew untouchable with the corruption around him right now. We have to find ways and means and other means of mechanism to topple Andrew Holness. He will always get away. We have to have people now or a serious policeman will go arrest the DPP and turn a hero. Because she's not beyond reproach of being arrested. We need a serious policeman. Yeah, for arrest Andrew Holness and become a national hero in a Jamaica folklore history. I just saw you have to deal with it. If you go sit down and wait for the DPP, the commissioner, and all who him have around him, when ring fence around him, him safety, it not go happen. Jamaican people are ball for America. America will never come and arrest no CIA agent. I remember the Prime Minister is a CIA agent of the United States. Yeah, because he's a capitalist as it relates to the CIA philosophy. So them now go come arrest him.
No.
What them do, them use him. Them use him. So the way to topple Andrew Holness, a one man have the power there in him hand right now. And it's Paul Buchanan. Paul Buchanan have the mechanism right now to topple Andrew Holness and to stem the tide of this massive corruption that perceive Jamaica, on a day-to-day basis. Once Paul Buchanan all the piece of shit in the Privy Council and use a lawyer like Isaac to defend that, Andrew Holness will be coming back to Jamaica as our ordinary civilian. And that's where you can break the back of this corruption. Yeah. So that is the only mechanism that is on the table right now. So we have begged, your melting pot has said, we have begged Paul Buchanan to get this locomotion engine in full steam. Yeah, and proceed to the Privy Council in London with this case. Don't rest on your lorries. Jamaica can't take no more of this garbage administration led by a crime minister. Yeah. If Paul Buchanan, have the heart and believe and the blood and fire comrade and know that Jamaica is supposed to be in the hands of a trusted son of the soil, Mark Jefferson Golden. Well, Paul Buchanan, you have to get moving, you know. Because time come. I yield back the floor to you, Sir Lord Byron.
Blessings, melting pot, and on the vein of what you said, I 100% endorse that. Right? To know that Paul Buchanan is pressing on, right, where that is concerned, because definitely melting pot. From once we penetrate that, and Paul Buchanan have the have his case in process as it relates to the appeals court, the Privy Council, then right, victory at last. Trust me. Now, Jamaica. Now when we talk about Andrew Holness, and earlier today we talk about Big Mama and Draws Davis talking about the Prime Minister, sound Prime Ministerial. Now, I want you to listen to this, right? And I want to know, as I said earlier today, which matrix that they use to measure the Prime Minister, right? Because, I mean, the Prime Minister failed on every mandate, on his mandate, right? Nothing that the Prime Minister promised, the Prime Minister delivered. Nothing, absolutely nothing, nothing, right? But Jamaican people, listen to this. Listen to this. Listen to this, Jamaican people. That, these people, because they might eat out of the trough, right? Of course, I mean, look, they are going to defend the Prime Minister. But we want to know what matrix did they use to defend the Prime Minister. Yeah. Now listen to this. Listen to this nincompoop here.
We have a Prime Minister in Jamaica who's a masterful communicator. It's a fact. It's a fact. I mean, what? You don't want to say it because people will say, yeah, labor, right? Well, I'm no labor, right? But I'm saying it. We have a Prime Minister who is a masterful communicator. And he has learned over time where time and place is concerned and his communication. And yesterday, holding the nation captive, he capitalized on the opportunity to speak at length about how his administration intends to go about rebuilding the country. In the same way, the opposition leader had us captive on Thursday, and he spoke for longer than he usually speaks because he knows that this was his time to speak to the country, and he made good use of his time. The Prime Minister made brilliant use of his time as well. And I think we have a clear idea.
So here with film cheap reverse psychology. The opposition leader made good use of his time. However, Andrew Holness made brilliant use of his time. So what he's saying right then and there, as it relates to good and brilliant, is that Andrew Holness outperformed, right? Mark Golden. This is what this piece of hypocrite is saying, with him cheap politics and say man a labor right. Look on him too. Say man a labor right. Look no, this is not even reverse psychology. You understand? This is just garbage coming out of his mouth. Living garbage. Right? So Mark Golden make good use of his time. But Andrew Holness make excellent use of his time. And you are not labor right. Look on you too. Look on you with the cheap politics.
Of where the government is going and how it intends to get there. The devil is always in the details. Someone sent me the origin of the quote. I didn't get to read it, but I want to read it, and I want to share it with you when I get the chance. So the Prime Minister was Prime Ministerial. Nothing more to say on that. He delivered what was expected of him. We have a Prime Minister in Jamaica.
The Prime Minister was Prime Ministerial. So then, now you have to laugh in a melting pot. Being Prime Ministerial is about telling lies. Telling lies to the nation. Deceitful, disinformation, and misinformation. That is what the Prime Minister was Prime Ministerial about. The Prime Minister know nothing about political history. Telling pure lies. Nothing. And what sort of matrix did you grade the Prime Minister on? The Prime Minister failed at everything. Let us show him again how the Prime Minister failed. Play the next clip on it. Let us show him how the Prime Minister failed. The Prime Minister has a careless failure. Failure. The worst in the Caribbean. The worst thing in the Caribbean basin. Right? 5 key promises. Yes. Can you imagine? Can you imagine, people? Prime Minister failed in every aspect. Yes.
Here, as Prime Minister, and most people would understand my job to be directing and coordinating all of government through cabinet ministers. However, I also want to point out that I stand here as a minister of government as well, with direct oversight of several substantial portfolio responsibilities. I don't only direct, convene, and preside, I also do the heavy lifting of ministerial work as well. Over 4 ministries.
Just imagine, people, the Prime Minister has a country and rule over 4 ministries. And all of them, the Auditor General have problem with it. All of them, the Auditor General, I mean the office of the Prime Minister, right? Billions of dollars unaccounted for. All of the ministries.
Yes, film office now, Byron.
Yes.
Commander scrutiny to the tune of 12.02 billion Jamaican dollar, you know. We're missing, you know.
Well, we are dealing with them tonight, Melting Pot. We are dealing with them.
No credibility, man. No credibility. Carry on, Sir Byron.
Madam Speaker, the leader of the opposition only talks. I do the job of Prime Minister, and I head 4 other ministries.
Really and truly, Melting Pot, you know, say the brother are really done. Because guess what? I'm the Prime Minister, you know. The opposition is there to oppose on a constructive basis and hold the government accountable. And the opposition job, you know. So then you tell me now what the Prime Minister said. You know, it's a pay garbage at one time out. You know, it's a pay garbage at one time out, Melting Pot.
Yeah, you tell us some Marky G disconnecting brain box, man.
Oh,
you can't phone.
Sorry, man, I forgot. Same in brain box disconnected. That's why equal I come out time out.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, we can play it.
The leader of the opposition only talks.
Yes.
Many times nonsense.
Yes.
And takes home $27 million.
Hold on there now. What more want to know? Is who increase the opposition pay?
And that me want to know. Me just ask a piece of shit.
Which you only take when you used to get before and give with the rest.
Eh? Who increase the opposition pay? You know, she said, well, okay, I forgot. Marky G
disconnected. Man, disconnected, man. Pull up, man.
All right.
And Marky G now assembly back, you know.
Yeah, I forgot. I forgot, say, in brain box, right? Disconnected.
Yeah, what the man attack?
In the last term, the leader of the opposition earned more than the Prime Minister.
Earned more than the Prime Minister.
The opposition.
No, you're wicked and lie. The leader of the opposition earned more than the Prime Minister. Him not tell the Jamaican people, say my secret retroactive from way back when. Melting Pot. He not talk about the retroactive. Eh? But then we not take it.
All right. Make a reason through line of reasoning. It is not on the book that the opposition salary is supposed to be bigger than the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister's salary should be bigger than the opposition. So I want to know under what circumstance this piece of shit in front of me has said the opposition salary more than Femon. When I him
because no, what my claim say? Him a claim say him never take the salary at the time. You understand him? Him remain taking his $9 million.
Remember, I know. Bug Life come out, you know.
For the retroactive. You understand?
But Byron, remember I said Bug Life come out and tell you from the outset, so there's no mechanism, you know, to give it back, you know.
Yeah, but
increase, you know.
Yes,
so we know that from the get-go, say, him not give nothing. You see, for him not come and state like when Mark G do and put him thing in a charitable means. We know him a collect money. Yeah? Him going to trick the people him going into the election like him never take the increase. You know, so the man make sure tell us after September the 3rd election, him want everything retroactive. And that him come out and say it, you know. Him not give nothing to nothing. Marky G give a Femon to charitable means. Femon not give to no charitable means. Them lie.
All right, I'm going to play him and listen to him because you understand. Yeah, it don't make no sense though.
The opposition spokesman on finance stood in this house and said the opposition has no problem with the increase in MP salaries. A few days later, the PNP General Secretary put out a release saying they strongly object to the salary increase for cabinet ministers and members of parliament. Yet, Madam Speaker, none of them, with their self-righteous objection, declined to take their salary increase. None of them.
But at the time, Prime Minister, you blindsided them because the fuck of the matter, they did not know the amount as it relates to the increase. They did not know the amount of the increase at the time. You understand? You had blindsided them, right? But this is how dishonest you are. Now, when you talk about performance, let us look on performance, Prime Minister. Take it away on it. Let us quickly go through this, right? Play the next clip. Let us look on your performance, right? Because Draws Davis said you're prime ministerial. You understand? So let us look on your performance. Look, here is a performance, Prime Minister. Here it is.
Within our first 100 days of government, we will start the legislative process to fix the date for general elections in Jamaica. So no government will be able to come and make false promises and hide the truth and tell you half-truths and trick you into voting for them. And then when them win, them throw on poison for you.
100 days. The fixed election day. Still await for the promise to fulfill. One broken promise after another. Laughable, as I said. None of your promise to fulfill yet, boss. So they are waiting.
Within the first 100 days of our government, we will start the legislative process to institute impeachment proceedings in Parliament. This will add another layer of protection of the Parliament to ensure that only members of unquestioned integrity sit in the Parliament.
All ministers under the new Jamaica Labour Party government will be given a job letter. That job letter has a timeline of 2 years and 6 months with key performance targets, which are agreed upon by the cabinet, focused on two things: economic growth and job creation.
Andrew, you need to do what you said from 2016. You say you're going to put it on paper. So anything you put on paper, the MP have to work with it. So you need to do it now. I feel like, say, when you do that, the MP will do them work and we will see work done in the community.
Within the first 100 days of government, we will start the legislative process to introduce term limits on the office of Prime Minister.
And Joelness, you know, him break him promise. Enough thing him say I'm gonna do, you know, for the next 100 days, and now him not do nothing. Him not keep no promise, and him say I'm the promise keeper. What a promise, John style.
At a convenient time within our new government, we will hold a grand referendum on the CCJ, the Caribbean Court of Justice, as the final appellate court.
You make so much promise for us. Look how long you're in there. Nothing done. All for the COVID. They promised the people them $25,000. Nothing done. Huh? So what you expect me to do? Tell me if you sleep with the door and window open and nothing done.
They run it out. And then the next one.
The livable wage simply is what the average person needs to survive for rent, utilities, education, food, and emergencies. Over the next few years, in our third term, we will double the minimum wage from $16,000, what we have carried it to now, having almost tripled it, to $32,000. In our first budget, the minimum wage will move from $16,000 to $18,500, and then gradually after that for the next few years. It is necessary to do this, and I want all Jamaicans to appreciate how our economy has changed. Yes, it's important for quality of life, but here's the big problem. At 3.3% unemployment, you are practically at full employment. People are not making a decision to leave what they are doing. Many of them are at home, many of them are at the street side, some of them are hustling. And so the incentive to work at that level is not strong enough. So by increasing the minimum wage gradually, you shift the incentive to work in favor of work. So you're going to get more Jamaicans voluntarily deciding to move out of the unemployment pool and into the labor pool. And that will give greater opportunity for growth in the economy.
All right, next clip on it, because we are going through fast. Failure. Nothing that he promised, he delivered on. Look at this. Worthless piece of soul. Look at him.
One of the things that I know affecting whole heap of people in Jamaica is the high electricity bill. When the PMP come into power, them say them going to bring down electricity costs. What has happened since? Electricity costs keep rising. They promised that by 2016 they would have made the JPS more efficient with more efficient plants. That's not going to happen till another 2 years. And before you know it, it will be another 3 or 4 years before them actually do it. The Labour Party will make sure that we put in place more efficient electricity generated plants to bring down the cost of electricity to you. I don't like to make promise, I make commitments. And under the Labour Party government, we are going to ensure that we bring to this country the big power plants. We are going to ensure that we bring to this country the big energy companies that can put the money in here to build the plants to give you cheaper and better electricity.
All right, take it away. After he promised that, Jamaican people, look what the Prime Minister did. After he promised that, melting pot drop off. Now see it? After the Prime Minister promised all of that, this is what the Prime Minister did. If you look here where the mouse is, reduce the threshold for the application of GCT on the consumption of residential electricity from 350 kilowatt hertz per month to 150 kilowatt per month, right? Yielded $1,498,000,000. The amount of pressure that he applied, and see who signed it off here. See who signed it off here, Jamaica, is to show you the level of wickedness where the Prime Minister is concerned. Now, Jamaica, we have to make sure that in terms of us getting the necessary information and building our awareness, right? Our civic knowledge to understand who is Andrew Honest, right? None of his promises has been delivered. Not one, Jamaica. Not one. And this is how serious the situation is where that is concerned. So we are doing this, right, with all of our energy, right? When we started out, right, we have seen where the PNP built up their momentum, right, from 14 to 28 and going stronger and stronger and stronger. And so then we have to carry on the mantle, right? Educating our people, right? Giving them the information that, we ought to give. And so then we strengthen us. But I am saying, Jamaica, that yes, we know the obstacles of the general election, right? We know the obstacles that we have to face, and we have to make sure when it comes to buying of votes, Jamaican people, and let me say this, I do believe that the Jamaican Labour Party had stolen the general election. But there is still a part of a situation that we need to make sure that we have to get that up and ready. There's still a large chunk of voters that sit at home and did not participate, right? A large that sit at home yes, set of voters that sit at home and did not participate. We are asking you, right, to make sure that this time around, participate. Let me just bring in Melting Pot, right, because Melting Pot is going to close us out. So Melting Pot, take all the time you want to take, right, because we are quite finishing early tonight because of some situation that we have to deal with. So Melting Pot, please close us out.
Yes, well, in relation to what Holiness was saying, to the Jamaican electorate about the electricity bill, the high energy bill under the People's National Party at the time, and how he's going to revitalize the energy sector by bringing more participants, So he's gonna bring more company. So when you have more company, consumer have choices. Have we seen that? No. It's the same old JPS monopoly system in place. But what is significant in regards to what he said was the simple fact that at the time, the People's National Party had a 350 kilowatt,
Yes.
mechanism in place, a threshold. You understand? And what happened? We saw where under the Jamaica Labour Party administration, Adi Shah wipe out that in phases. Wipe it out in phases. At the current moment, there's nothing there. You understand? Them eliminate it from 350 to 0. So as you plug in now, you start to pay. There is no threshold for you to exceed before you start to be billed at the high rate. You understand? So that was a lie told to the Jamaican electorate, and they must have seen it. You understand? Right now, electricity, people can't pay for it. More people are gaslight now again. Them gone back to that scenario. Because them cannot. And on top of that, remember, say it increased this year based on the fact that how much them say them have to use to revitalize back the energy system as it relates to Hurricane Melissa. So everything that Andrew Wallace said, was a callous lie. And Jamaican people certainly does not benefit from any low electricity bill coming to them. It's higher than before. You understand? But it don't surprise me. Because I know from this guy enter into politics, him coming as a con guy. Coming as a con guy, you know. Trick the people, using him political social science when achieve up a UA. That's all him have. Him can't do economics and not like that. Him not no vision for the country apart from telling the voters them lie. And take up the taxpayers' money and put it into goodies bag and distribute it for vote. And even right now, that is what has caused Jamaica election affair to be so, damaged as it relates to people know when election time come round. Under the Andrew Wallace administration is Santa Claus time, is giveaway time. It's time for run up and down for motorcade and get gansy with money and food and all type of thing and vote buying. It's like Christmas come in our election time. No, I believe that the election process is one of the most serious time period in our country. Because that will reshape the whole landscape of the parliamentarian and plus the economy. And when you have dunce people hands-on on the country affair, you're going to get what Jamaica is getting right now. Lack of leadership, high level of corruption, low wages, no job creation. I hear him talk about 3.3% unemployment, the lowest. And what economy have now? For sure we that. Him not no economy, so your unemployment is down to 3.3. You can't take a man where hustle him look at 2 cigarettes and him sheet a whistler and him draw weed and say him employ, You can't use hustler and say them employ. Because all of the business place them given to Chinese. So a man have to take him build a little boat tray and put him little thing pan there and sit down for pass him time by and see if him can make 20 cents pan a dollar. That cannot guarantee no food or pay no bills. That is just a survival mode with most Jamaican utilize based on them mindset and them skill set how to hustle. No government classified hustlers as people that is employed because you cannot put a wage to the work what them a do. It's whatever them make and what them have to take. You understand? We know all about hustling trade, So when Andrew Wallace come, and I spew the E. coli out of his mouth, if you know, say, nobody now, hear him or listening to him anymore. People is being turned off by the lots of lies where this guy come out with on every platform him go. And I'm telling Jamaican people, him is so pugnacious, it's unreal. Because if you just look by you dry and tell a lie, already know say you have the truth sit down pan, him still tell a lie. Now I hear about try to make the comparison between him and Mark Jefferson Golden. There is no comparison. Absolutely none. You understand? And when I talk about the People's National Party member them, none of them no give back the money. Them don't have no mechanism to give back. Unless them all do like what Mark G do and put it in a charitable organization. There is no mechanism in place for any of the politicians them give up them salary. Them F the salary, this garbage are increase. Because when the garbage increase the salary, you know, it automatically come with a system in place that the permanent secretary for them want to have to increase. I remember Andrew work with the permanent secretary them. So in order to give them a higher salary package so that them continue the lack of what you call now procurement guideline. Yeah? But we know say the ministry them for over 11 years, nothing now come through them in terms of procurement guideline. Yeah, because I'm keep the system that way, you know. So when the auditor general them come in, them don't know which part even begin. Everything turn upside down. So him reward the permanent secretary them by lifting the member of parliament them salary. I remember there's a percentage guideline between permanent secretary and member of parliament. So it automatically give him the option to give them that amount of reward. I remember people like Arjuswell. She benefit from that immensely as the cabinet secretary because she's at the top level of corruption in the Andrew Wallace administration. Then you see where it spin over now and it reached to the judicial system side of thing where the judge them and DPP them get increased automatically because it's a chain of event, you know. Yeah, and it take into effect all of them people where you hear me talk about. Because them provide the corruption barrier for him. Andrew Holness know what he's doing. He's operating on a systematic terms, yeah, that play out in a film favor. But who him leave behind? Him leave behind the source of the voters. Yeah, the little people who I talk about where hustle. Where at them, you say out there for the campaign train. Him leave them behind because them are not nobody. And me keep telling them, Andrew does not recognize the poor. And if you don't find yourself in a certain capacity where him can use you to provide the ring fence around him corruption, you're dead and buried. Or you die drowning in the water of corruption. Jamaican people life has not been, you know, looked upon by this leader. Yeah? No. Because Andrew Wallace does not care about poor people more than when time comes for you get a goodies bag or you get a guns with a few worthless dollars in it. Yeah. And with them time them see them. So Andrew Wallace can't come tell we nothing, you know. What Andrew Wallace need to do, yeah, as the Mark G said, is bring the crawl report come, bring the FinSac report come. Yeah? Because Jamaica people need clarity upon that. Yeah? Because Andrew Wallace cannot say nothing in regards to, you know, good governance. Yeah? We know him as a criminal. Yeah? And don't try and implicate the People's National Party and Sir Mark G. Because it's over a decade now, them not have no day-to-day affair runnings with the country. Yeah, they are only there as a defense shield to make sure no them keep you as a criminal by your toes. And you know, say 28 eyes I watch you. Plus, you know, we are look upon you from all angles. You understand? That's all them is there to do, you know. Them not have nothing to do with what gone off of the table. The 3.3 trillion. Them not have nothing to do with that, you know. Them not have nothing to do with Actem, you know, where you set up, you know, to steal the things that come in, you know. Them not have nothing to do with the 6.7 billion US dollar where you get, you know. Them not have nothing to do with the cat ban. Them not have nothing to do with the CRIF. Them not have nothing to do with all of the grants where you get and the extra loan them. And you alone control that sector. Yeah? And everybody see what you do with that. So when you try to shift and deflect, you can't shift nothing and deflect over the PMP side. The PMP is doing an excellent job right now to hold you accountable and stand up in front of you as a deterrent factor in a parliament. Yeah, where you can't pass nothing like what you used to do. Yeah, you have to make sure no say you restrict yourself in a way where right now the play field not suit you. The ball game you not suit you. You not enjoy the ball game. The third term, the game not play the way you want it. Because you have a defense line where you can't breach again. Yeah. So that's your main problem where you have now. You understand? Problem like removing the importation license want to get to James Robertson, where affect the farmer. Them that problem where you have to stem. Yeah? The ministry them, where all of them is in deficit as it relates to billions of dollars missing from them ministry without any procurement to trace it. You need to sort out that. You need to sort out the high state killing where the youth them are get gunned down by the state on a daily basis, averaging 1 per day. Yeah? You need to stem that. You need to stem the high level of importation of cocaine into Jamaica and illegal guns and ammunition. Those are the problems where you need to fix. You need to come out and tell the Jamaican people what vision you have in your third term to get the economy rolling again. You know, say nothing on that, you know. Everybody can hear you. All you depend is Marky G and the PMP and the bag of this and that and the gutter water politics. You know, come with nothing solid and I show the people, you know. Because you know, have it in you. Remember, Melting Pot describe you as a guy who is not prime minister material. And you know, surplus to requirement to the Jamaican voters. Yeah? You're not surplus to requirement. The Jamaican electorate have seen you play a game of brother and Nancy with them and brother Tukuman. And them tired of that. This whole heap of gimmicks and skimmicks and hizim and skizim thing where you run with. Them no want that no more, no. Because in Mark Jefferson Golden, them see a leader of great stature. You understand? Them see a man who can travel outside of Jamaica and command the respect where first world leader get. Because Sir Mark Jefferson Golden has presented himself in the business community and has presented himself as a very credible businessman. And you piece of shit, Andrew Wallace want come destroy the man business profile and say him benefit from the meltdown in the 90s. When Marky G cannot move interest rate, that belongs to the Bank of Jamaica. Marky G only, you know, facilitate if people want a loan. You get it from him at the interest rate where the Bank of Jamaica prescribe. Not Marky G prescribe that. It's just like me have a shop. Yeah, and goods, wood. Just put it so. And the current market value for a pound of flour is $20, but it used to be $15. Me benefit from who we hold up the goods. So the Bank of Jamaica send up the interest rate, Marky G, business, facilitate people who want to accept the high interest rate. They never force nobody. Yeah. So always say Andrew Hollis a common attack. Yeah, it's nonsense. Nonsense. It now can't wait. It's a deflection from them bad governance. And them want to speak about Sir Mark Jefferson Golden. You can't speak about Sir Mark Jefferson Golden. Because you just cannot measure up to that man. That man is so much leagues above you in terms of how him respond to people and people needs. In terms of how him show love and respect to the people. In terms of how him care for the Jamaican people. It's a spitting image of Michael Manley who alter the balance for the black and the poor. And he make no apology. Yeah, I remember when Michael Manley was making that speech, he refers to labor right. You want I tell you what him say? Him say labor right, hear this. I alter the balance in favor of the black and the poor, and I have no apology. So that was a distinct information him put out there. To the labor rights. Because Michael Manley tell us a labor right, not in favor of black and poor. So him send a direct speech to them, making them know say, him I go take up the black and the poor and lift them up and put them somewhere, and him now make no apology for that. Not like Eddie Seaga, we show him true colors, say him no respect black and poor, and burn down Evelyn Tide home, and kill 153 elder women, and people them kill them in a way that even some who could have helped themselves can't save themselves, you know. Windows and door blockading. These nastiness. Yeah. We want to try to trick Jamaican people and tell Jamaican people, say them, yeah, care for them. Just look, Melissa show it again. I know people still under tarpaulin. People still hungry. And just sit down upon the things that are coming, the tons of goods that are coming. Him sit down upon them. Some of them would have soon gone out of date. This nastiness sit down upon them. The man put 10 billion Jamaican worthless dollar upon the book to carry out repair and building work as it relates to people, houses. Yeah? And the number tell us 200,000 houses, you know, get damaged in our business, you know. And you know, here I talk not about the small people in business. Him talk about the big man them business, like JPS and other business. Them get kickstart again. And we are asked to self the question. Yeah? I know when time IMF and the World Bank, them carry out them assessment. Them never done it on the scale of dealing with business people, you know. What them doing it pan, you know, is for build back the house them for the people where them say damage. Yeah. Businessman, them have them insurance, them have them money sit down pan. Yeah. Them can't borrow business loan. The little people them not have no bank account, them can't get a loan. So at them people needs and priority. Yeah, the assessment was done on. And on the other side, the infrastructure, like the road and the water and them thing, that those were what make up the 6.7 billion US dollar. And remember the cat ban, yeah, that was designed to repair people's houses. But instead it got to JPS, yeah, where we know say 80% belongs outside of Jamaica to the investors them. You understand? So we look and we see all these things happen in front of our eyes, yeah? And we have to now look upon this individual, yeah, as a fearer in the country. Yeah, a guy who want drown the people them in our sorrows of corruption. Because him already make it, you know. And he make it big time. There is no other prime minister, yeah, in the history of Jamaica who has amassed the amount of wealth that Andrew amassed in that space of time. Yeah? Unaccounted wealth. Him can't explain it. Because the guy sit down here and come out and tell us I'm in charge of 4 ministry. Or one man in charge of 4 ministry. Eh? Or one thieving, corrupted guy in charge of 4 ministry. That's not supposed to happen. But when we look, we see $12.02 billion gone from Fame Desk, you know. Move from around Fame Desk. That form part of the 3.3 trillion where the Auditor General no see nowhere in sight. Where they hear them come out and make all type of different reference. Say it's not been stolen but book back. We appear people, yeah, to do auditing on a yearly basis. where everything should be intact, where it can be read out easily as it relates to accountability. But where Andrew Holness and them criminal them do. Yeah, we have several bureaucrats, you know, we are criminal, you know. Several people in a civil society, you know, we are criminal. Remember, IC put out report on them, you know. Yeah, them not clean and look good as they see them, you know. Them are criminal in disguise, working for Andrew Holness. You understand? And them set the things so when the auditor general, them going, them can't uncover nothing. Everything turn upside down. So these people along with Andrew Holness must be held accountable when the right time come. You understand? You cannot overlook these people. Lot of these permanent secretary, they colluded with the high level of corruption because you see, if them are do for them job, it would have easily exposed in a traceable manner. Yeah, but because they are paid to underperform and masquerade as permanent secretary, then we have these type of problem. And when you look through all of the ministry them, like Ministry of Health, $870 billion, you know. Yes, when you look at agriculture and the flight green, same way. When you look at the other ministry as it relates to security, are the same problem you have. Same problem. Them can't audit them. You understand? Because the variance is of such that you don't know if you start, just cannot be audit. You can have a country run and 11 years. Yeah, there is no audit them. And then you have money return come out and chat shit out of your mouth. Eh? These people must be held accountable. This is a stage fraud. The whole of them staged it to fraud the country. Oh, you can't sit down and collect your wages as permanent secretary. Yeah? In the various ministry. But your job no start, no begin. When the auditor general come in, she can't find no clue as to where to start. It not sure say you come and work or you not work where you collect pay. You forget charge, man. All of them forget charge. Yeah? So the whole spectrum of Andrew Holness administration was not to work for the people or the country, but to work for themselves. And I mean, one such ways and means of stealing Jamaica money is the consolidated fund where you see them organize, where them throw everything into, yeah, like them a ton car meal, and you throw all type of various thing in it and ton the meal. Now we want to see the things sort out in an efficient way, where we know say GTC, special consumption tax, and all them things that them itemize and them have them place. Yeah. So all the special consumption tax off of the fuel. You know, say you look over there, so there you can see where it stand at. And you know, say if you use it for the intended purpose where it was designed for to fix the road. Yeah. Because you take it off of the motorist, them, you know, to provide the motorist with a better road surface. That not done all now. That money mix up. Yeah. That money mix up, you know, my people. And Jamaica can't get no transparency with that. Nobody ever even know how much them get off of the gasoline at the pump. Nobody don't know. Yeah. You have the nether sector now as it relates to the environment. Yeah. It's a special levy for that, you know. And you take that and put in the consolidated fund again. And so you don't know how much money that's levy brought in that's supposed to service the gully them, the culvert, and all those things, you know, as it relates to environmental, you know, needs. So that is why you see Sandy Gully was in the deplorable state. That's why you see under Riverton City Bridge, out of 5 miles, there was a mountain almost touching the surface of the bridge. That is why further down, yeah, in that gully, entering into the causeway, mangrove, it was like the Amazon mountain has not been clean. And so that now form a backup outlet and entire Jamaica and the corporate area flood. People along the rural parishes, them drain and culvert now clean. Them flood out. Yeah. Broke around underneath road. Because for a long time them place their water smoke because you don't have a proper outlet to channel the water away. So them land they absorb it on the road, them are broke way. It shows that Andrew not doing nothing to the environmental system. But yet still there's a levy and there's money that put aside, but it gone into the consolidated fund. And Andrew rip out that like nobody business. Yeah. The guy come out with a spark program leading into general election. Like him no know say him can't fool we. That was an election bribe package. No road no fix for that. And if the road them even fix, them don't fix adequately. Because them don't go through the right process of rehabilitation. Them don't have the right personnel working. Them have politics people who support politics doing the job. That is hanky-panky for the value of the Jamaican taxpayers' money. When you take people without any professional, certificate to come out and do engineering structural work like road work, unbelievable. When we see people like Rhoda Crawford and our woman team say them a Barbara Green Road and a roll with roller. When you look and see Anne-Marie Woodvard, I carry out the same thing. And them are running it and post it on social media. It tells you the state of affairs Jamaica into. Nowhere in the world, so politicians do those type of work. And having a whale of a time, and you can't see in the case of Anne-Marie Woodvard. She had drink rum. She has top toxic people where she know. And it was just one gallivant over taxpayers' money. Calling the road surface carpet. You look, you see, road a bulldozer. She down there with the same thing. And have people like a speech about she when a road work we are dealing with. We never see that happen yet. It shows that fraud and bogus government Jamaica have. The government is fraud and it's a bogus government. It's a government that does not know the duty and the role that it's supposed to play in the society, in the building process of Jamaica. Them give everything people. Yeah? Everything them give Some we don't know, some we know. And just so greedy. We have 2 international airports. And what him do? Him draw down the concessionary terms in a one. One him take 12 years, one him take 10. The total sum of money is 130 billion Jamaican dollar. Andrew can't tell what him do with that, And Andrew can't give no reason. Him can't state the obvious reason why him take the concession in one go. Why him can't wait and make it come on a yearly basis so it do the work where it's supposed to do. He's a guy where like see lump sum of money for thief it. Yeah, when him get it in a small quantities, it's like an film speciality that. So him draw them down in a one lump sum. And nobody don't know where this guy do with the 130 billion from the 2 international airport. So right now them dead stand up, but Jamaica not benefit off of them. Because the money gone and missing in Andrew Wallace business affair. And that's why it gone, And the same thing him do with the NHT 11.4 billion annually, Yes. It gone in a theme one thing. That's why him well swell so much. That's why him cannot disclose or him get the money. Because you'd ask yourself the question. Based on what Sir Marky G state. Yeah. That the budget. Yeah. Them not use it. Them don't use all of the money. The budget where them put out. Money are left back. But why you start with such a budget then? If you now utilize all the funds, why would you, come up with such a budget? When you know you're not going to utilize the funds. And we don't hear what happened to the funds whether it roll over back, Yeah, we just hear a new budget being presented. Hear them tell us, well, all right, the budget at $20, but we carry over $5. from the last budget. So we are supplementing 15. You know, you're not like that, you know. You just hear the budget number. But you know, hear where they left off of the last money where them not spend. So this government has been using ways and means of stealing from the taxpayers. Yeah. And those things, we find them very despicable. Because at the end of the day, the taxpayers who are burden can't buy a loaf of bread again, you know. A 2 slice, sometime one, sometime none. A big jar of oil in a plastic bag. Yeah. All these little things that we see, we are called out. And then at the end of the day, as much as them small in quantities, in terms of what they order from the shopkeeper, the money where them are paid is about 3 times Mama P basket. I remember Mama P basket never having 2 slices of bread, and big jar of oil, and big jar of red peas, and half a stick of butter. All them garbage there. Eh? Half a stick of butter, you know. What that can do? So the whole crisis, yeah, in a Jamaica, we have to eradicate that right now, man. Yeah? We can't just come and we can't move the dial on something more, you know, illustrious where we say I benefit the country. We have to still stuck in the corruption, but we are going to stay in it. We not left it. We are staying in it. And we are going to find the ways and means, yeah, to solve the problem. And me a call Pan Paul Buchanan again. Big man, are you hold the key right now, you know? Are you hold the key? Yeah, and me a ask you to make the key become accessible to the Privy Council in London. Because I'm going to just something say, we can't put a halt to this demon dictator in a 2026, because Jamaica can't carry him in a 2027, you know. You mad? Oh, if you carry him there, so. You can't carry a guy where you see bring people from overseas to come do money laundering and disturb the whole economic, you know. By awarding this piece of shit house to all various contracts, you know. And have him now a middle in our election affair. We don't trust these type of people anymore. Jamaican have to get wise up to what is happening around them on a daily basis. Jamaican have to look and say, well then, a society that model itself and shape itself under the banner of corruption will not heal to nobody but who is running the corruption ring. Yeah? And this idea, so well then, boy, we have to call for it. If we stop and just say 3.3% of the people unemployed. So everybody down at Jamaica work. And Andrea said to we, in a way I said it, so no better off now than under the PMP time. Andrew only come out and a state a garbage message to the people as it relates to unemployed, as it relates to minimum wages. Now, what kind of incentive me can have to feel appreciative of a government when they move my wages by only 1,000 worthless Jamaican dollars from 16,000 to 17,000? Him not do nothing for me. As a matter of fact, him even get me more angrier. What a $1,000 increase can do in our country where the inflation higher than Mount Everest. Where poverty higher than Mount Everest. It not do nothing. So Andrew stop, come out, come talk about this 1,000 increase and gradually. That not gonna wait. That half year match inflation. That half year match inflation, Mr. Kanjo. Yeah? So don't tell the people about this $1,000 increase as if it's something rewarding and beneficial to the changing of them life. That can't change them life. I see a man put up a birthday meal and a 10,000 feet and a 2 fish and some crackers and some little vegetable, carrot and sweet pepper and okra. Me not see nothing more. A 10,000. 10,000, you know. And that is just one meal. And you offer people 1,000 increase for 5 days. And you want to come make a hula baloo over that? Garbage. Understand yourself, so Jamaican people might be done, but they're not fool. And the only reason why Jamaican people can be labeled as that, and I know it's not all of them, so I'm not going to be disrespectful, is the simple fact that the Jamaica Labour Party has not done anything to education to enhance the brilliant mind of the Jamaican. Yeah, but Andrew take on for fool. And dance at the same time. But we try make him know say, when you no dance, you no fool. You no know the value and the worth of $1,000. Yeah? You can't give man out at airport that just to move your thing from this to this. Him ask you all type of man and evil question and insult you. Like him did send you go foreign. So just look at it. Yeah? That just go to show you how Jamaica set up. Nowhere else in the world you go. You know, get harassment from people calling themselves baggage porter. You don't have that. You have lots of trolley there. You just put the thing on it and you shoot it yourself. And you leave it at a spot. You understand? So, we understand how outside world shape. Yeah, and would I like to see Jamaica adapt the same principle. Because Jamaica have ways and means, you know. Yeah, to suffice itself along that line. We have a big striving tourist industry, but we're not benefiting from it. We have agriculture, the country not benefiting from it. We have the backside, the country not benefiting from it. Yeah, we have several other, you know, commodities where we not benefit from. Yeah, we have the solar system down at Jamaica, you know. But we don't need no big company as we Andrew said for coming up to reduce the electricity bill, you know. We have the solar there. Yeah. Him don't tap into that because this guy now no vision. And what this guy like is the fact that when him roll out all type of garbage, the people them take it and hug it up and come relax with and becomes relaxed with it. You don't see civil society or the working class come out and push back on the garbage when Andrew roll out. Yeah? Because when you look and see how much now it costs you, yeah, to maintain your family. But at the end of the line, you can obtain that through your hard work for a week. Unbelievable. Unbelievable because it's not like you not try, you know. You try. So when I hear Andrew Hollis come out and I say, the $1,000 we are going to go up on the 16,000 and make it 17, I'm going to give the youth them incentive to come out come work. What kind of incentive that I will give the youth them to come out come work? Eh? $1,000 will make people get up now. Because you're moving from 16 to 17.
Yes, Pat, if I can use a minute for close because wife you have to attend to something. So
all right, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you're gonna use $1,000 now. Yeah, and reinvigorate the working society. Because you add $1,000 on the 16,000, make it 17,000. So the youth them now have a run go because Andrew moved the minimum wage to 17. What is 17,000? Just about $100 US. Just about $100 US, my people. I sorry we can't divulge into this thing no more for the night because circumstance does not prevail. But my people, you know the journey continue and we'll be here next week, same way. So just big up on yourself, enough love and respect. Yeah, Sir Brad Byron, enough love and respect, same way. Yeah, the Anne-Marie, technical director, enough love and respect because we never blessed with people when we come in now. Ground zero, world tight, you know, melting pot love on the same way. I hear about the floor to you, Sir Byron.
Blessings, blessing part. Well, Jamaica, well, you know, my peeps, that's where it is. Of course, let me just give it to wifey to close us out, wifey.
Okay, guys, again, thank you so much. You could have been elsewhere, but you're with us, so we do not take that for granted. Everyone, have a wonderful and blessed weekend. Stay safe, walk good, and safe travel on the gravel. Until next time, bless up. Blessings, melting pot.
All right.
Love and respect, sister.
Bless
Blessings.
up.
I don't want you come to me with that foolishness, you know. You elect a prime minister, and is a prime minister run the country. It is time we learn to hold our leaders accountable for their actions and stop making excuses for them. Stop making excuses. Otherwise, go elect the people who really run in the country. And I don't want the right side that stupid argument. Hold the people you elect accountable and stop making excuses for them.